The MSI and Worlds formats have changed pretty dramatically, so what does this mean for the LCS? Well, we're going to talk about it on the LCS report. That's right, we are back at the LCS report talking about MSI in Worlds because it does matter, especially for the LCS and the LEC, where things got not necessarily easier, but I think better overall, if we're being honest, especially for the four major regions. And hopefully this means that we'll get a lot more investment from some of these LCS owners because, spoiler alert, fourth place can technically make Worlds now. Crazy stuff. We thought that was only for the LCS or LPL and the LCK, but we were wrong. Let's start with the MSI 2023 format, though. There are 13 teams, and look at this right here on the left side, guys. Two teams from the LCS will be going to MSI from now on. This is mind-blowing. This is fantastic because, let me tell you, I have sometimes felt like only sending one team is great because there's a lot of focus, but it's I really wish that we had two teams. And while, yes, the LPL and the LCK will also be sending two teams, I just think that it makes the spring split matter a little bit more, especially for a lot of people, because it was like either you win or you don't go to MSI and it doesn't matter. Now they're making it matter for every single region because you got to make finals to be able to go. And just getting to finals, you can go on a Cinderella story run just to make finals. You may not beat the best team in the league, but at least you have a chance now. And I do think that this extending it is going to be absolutely massive for the LCS teams because, again, spring split's going to matter, especially if you're a top 6 team. Like if you think, hey, I just need to make playoffs because if I can make a run in the playoffs, I can send my team to MSI, which is just massive for branding, for money even, just everything, okay? So this is fantastic. It is going to be a little different this year. There's going to be, again, 2 teams from the 4 major regions, then 1 team from CBLOL, LATAM, VCS, PCS, and the LJL. Now, you will notice that Turkey is no longer there. That's because they've been absorbed by the EMEA, which is the LEC. And I believe that the Russian league is also technically, eventually, I think, going to be part of the EMEA once they kind of figure out what's going on with this Ukrainian war, right? Once that is hopefully resolved in a very peaceful and beneficial to Ukraine manner. But politics aside, there are going to be 13 teams going, and I'm very interested to see because what's going to happen is they're going to do a very new way of doing things. Basically, I'm just going to read it straight from this really quickly here. It's going to consist of 2 groups of 4 teams, each playing best of 3, double elimination, which is what people have been wanting. Double elim. Maybe you have one bad day, but that doesn't matter because unless if you have 2 bad days, you're not going to necessarily be eliminated right away. Now, this does obviously help teams like, when we get to the LCK and the LPL as well, because, instead of having to beat them once, we will have to beat them twice, but maybe they'll also just beat each other, which would be fantastic. I don't know. We'll see here. But the play-ins are going to create a field where the best teams from the 5 smaller regions and the number 2 seeds from the LPL, LCS, and LEC, because the LCK won Worlds, right, are all going to be fighting for these spots. Teams that go 2-0 will advance to the bracket stage, making sure that the most dominant teams go. And then the 2 teams that go 0-2 and the 2 that finish 1-2 will be eliminated from MSI. The 2 teams that end up going 2-1 and win the lower bracket in their group will play each other in a best of 5 series. Love that. With the winner advancing to the bracket stage and the loser being eliminated. Okay, so you can see it here, right? You'll have the teams playing each other. Whoever loses will head down to a lower bracket. Whoever wins will advance. Same thing for group 2. So again, it's the 5 minor regions and then the 3 number 2 seeds from the LPL, the LEC, and the LCS. Okay. Then they will all play each other with the losers bracket teams basically facing off against each other. So there's a much better chance like of the LCS or the LEC potentially sneaking in, specifically for us LCS fans, of sneaking in and, you know, having two teams represented later on in Worlds. Again, the LEC and the LPL teams, number two teams, are going to be strong. There's no doubt about it, but they have to play so many more games. And I'm really interested to see kind of how that's going to shake things out. Then you get this playoff bracket, which is, you know, got basically the rest of the teams left, right? They'll all play each other. Again, double elimination. You'll go into a loser's bracket, and even from the loser's bracket, obviously, you can still find a way to win, which is absolutely fantastic. So, I think, real quickly, too, I think it's worth noting 5 double elimination brackets. Guys, we're going to get so many games. So many games. The worst part about this is we're not going to see group draws or anything, because once we get to Worlds, you will see here, there's a major shakeup, and group draws will no longer exist, which is going to be disappointing to a certain degree, but I think this new format is going to make people very happy. So here's what's going to happen is all the minor regions are going to be sending, I believe it's mainly 2 teams, if I remember correctly, but the LCS and the LEC have an opportunity. This is the best part. The 4th seed from each region is going to play each other in a best of 5 series. We're literally getting what we used to get with like All-Stars, or not All-Stars. Oh gosh, I cannot remember what it was called, but EU versus NA, right? We get that because the LCK and the LPL have performed better at Worlds the last 2 years, thus they don't have to do this. Now, I like this system because let's say by some random miracle the LCS and the LEC get better and they win Worlds, right? And then the LCK and the LPL, or whatever combination of the top 4 regions, are going to end up having to play each other, their 4th seeds, with the opportunity to get to play-ins, okay? This is going to be crazy. Apparently the World Qualifying Series will take place in North America this year. So the LEC is going to have to come to our turf, and their 4th seed's going to have to play ours for the opportunity to go to Worlds. So it's like, I think it's perfect because the LCK and the LPL, they deserve their 4 seeds. I think that's fair. I think it makes the most sense to me. But we have an opportunity to send a 4th seed as well, and it all stems from being able to beat the LEC to get in, which I think would be fantastic. Now, what that does mean is that all 4 seeds for the LPL and LCK will make it in. They don't have to do play-ins. Same thing for our 1st through 3 seeds. We don't have to worry about our 3rd seed anymore not making it out into the group stages, like not worrying about them having to play in play-ins. I think that's fantastic. Our 4th seed instead will be in this system here, where they will play a bunch of best of 3s to potentially, make their way into groups. Now, here's what it says. Yeah, so it's VCS 1s and 2s, PCS 1 and 2, CBLOL, LLA, LJL, and then our 4th seed. 8 teams, double elimination bracket, best of 3, and then 2 final best of 5 matches where the upper bracket winner of each group and the lower bracket winner of each group will continue on into the new Swiss format, which, if you don't know, understand Swiss formats, it's basically if you keep winning, then you make it. If you lose sometimes, then you don't. I am just unbelievably excited for a Swiss format. I think it's going to fit really well. We're getting a bunch of best of 1s to start, which is fine. No problem there. Everybody is randomly, picked to face each other because you're either going to win or you're going to lose, right? Doesn't really matter. Then if you win, you head into the upper bracket. If you lose, you head into the lower bracket. If you tie, then you go into the middle bracket. If you finish 0-2, you're kind of out, basically. You get a chance to redeem yourself, essentially. But I think for the LCS, this is going to be great because there's a way where we are randomly selected to not have to face the LPL or the LCK, right? It is truly random. Now we could also get screwed and have to face them in back-to-back, and then we're in 0-2, and then we're going to have to climb our way back out. But regardless, it doesn't matter. This is, I think, the most fair system for regions like ours where we just want an opportunity, right, to get there and not have to face the LPL 3 times in a row or the LCK 3 times in a row. Like, we still might, right? But I think we're going to see that this system is going to allow for us to have an opportunity to play best of ones, which I think helps us a little bit. And then once we get deeper into it, play best of threes. And there's a chance that we have 4 teams in this Swiss format at this point. And so I think, I didn't do a perfect job of explaining it. You can go to the LoL Esports website and check it out. But, final thoughts here on the LCS stuff. We're getting more seeds, both at MSI and potentially at Worlds. Our third seed doesn't have to go through play-ins or any of that other BS anymore. We're automatically into this Swiss group format, right? There's just so many more games that are going to be played. You don't get eliminated right away. You have an opportunity to survive. If you accidentally get placed against, I don't know, we'll say T1, right, in your first Swiss game, but then you get placed against, I don't know, we'll say one of the VCS teams makes it out or something like that in the second round, then you have an opportunity to go 1-1, and then maybe you play another LCS or an LEC team. You get to 2-1. If you win that best of 3 against whoever it may be, you're in. You are in to the knockout round, which is going to stay the same. They're all best of 5s, quarterfinals, semifinals, all the way up to the finals. And I just think it's going to provide a lot more entertainment for people. It's probably going to be a little bit longer, which I think is great. And the only thing I'm going to miss about it is groups. That's it. That's the only thing I'm going to miss. But I think for the LCS, this is going to be fantastic. I really genuinely believe that. And I hope that you guys too. Please let me know what you guys think. I really think that League of Legends knocked it out of the park when it comes to this new MSI and Worlds format. But I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Either way, I'll see you guys on the next one.